Welcome back one and all to the Gaming Pantry. This is the Retro Bear, wishing you a very happy, well, Coronation Bank holiday, I suppose is the best way to describe it. A extra day's holiday for us here in the UK. Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. I hope you've enjoyed the festivities this weekend, nipped in and out of it. I think the coronation is probably something I can go another 70 years without watching. It was a bit of a dull event, but I did enjoy the old marching before and afterwards. You can't go wrong with a good old military parade now again, can you? And the concert was very good last night as well, if you managed to catch that. I thought it took a bit of a while to get going, but certainly the last, I'd say near the last hour or so, it was 45 minutes, was pretty good. So, yeah, anyway, so just enjoying an extra day off before going back to work tomorrow. Get used to these 4-day weeks, couldn't we? Ooh. Got another one in 3 weeks' time. It's fantastic. Anyway, hope you're well. Good to see you back here again. If it is your returning visit, if you are here for the first time, hey, have a look round. It's a bit of a mess, but you know, it's what we call home. So what am I doing today? Well, this is one of those great moments, really, when people get in touch and they say, oh, I've got some things you might be interested in, or would you be interested in this? Now, a lot of the time I do take people up on it. Sometimes I don't. You know, because the last thing you want to do is become known as somebody who takes a lot of stuff in and doesn't give a lot of stuff back. And this came about via Mrs. Bear's brother, Neil, who a friend of the channel, so a big hello to Neil, and thank you very much indeed for getting in contact about this. I can't remember if it was a friend of his or somebody who works with him. It might be one of the, it's definitely one of the two anyway. A person called Chris, who I'd like to give you a big hello and a big thank you to. And I hope you're watching, Chris, and we are going to try and sort you something out as a way of saying thank you for what you've done. And Neil got in touch and said, oh, there's somebody wants, you know, would I be interested in these things that Chris had to sort of donate? And Chris very quite clearly said he didn't want anything for this. So this is why I'm going to try and sort him something out as a way of saying thank you. And this is all stuff that he's had since new, basically, I think, or has been in his possession for a very, very long time. And Neil went to work and sort of said, well, you know, I know somebody who'd be, you know, interested in keeping these, and don't worry about them being kept and, you know, not sold on or moved on or anything like that. They will be going to the console equivalent of Disneyland. Yes, that's a very nice way of putting it. I could quite use that if it wasn't obviously trademarked by Disney. But I quite like that. So yeah, they just dropped off to us last week, and I have shared a few photos with the TMB lads who'll know what I'm going to be talking about here today. But I mean, wow. I mean, what can I say? First of all, Chris, I mean, as I said, these will go straight into my collection, and then they will be kept. There are a couple of things here that are actually going to be new items into my collection. A couple here which will probably replace or are upgrades on existing things that I have, and I will keep those to one side. I will put Chris's stuff into my collection. Anything that comes out that I will probably donate to other people if there's any interest in that. It's a way of moving things around. But a lot of it is really sort of upgrades, and in some cases actual backups to things I've already got, which is great, because when I first started doing this properly 15 years ago now, I wanted to make sure that I never left myself short of anything. Now this is where we cross this sort of fine line between hoarding and collecting. But I always think it's very important, those people who visited my collection, had a look around it properly, and have seen the videos that I did 18 months ago now, when I re-put the rooms together, redid the rooms. There's a fair few spares knocking around of things, but I always like to have the spares in case there's a problem with existing ones, because as we all know, these things break down. Some of them are more difficult to repair than others. So this great box, this great curver box arrived, and I couldn't quite believe what was in there. It was some amazing things. But I'm going to show you, first part of the video I'm going to show you the stuff that's come, and then the second part of the video I'm going to test it, make sure it's all done. I'll give everything a good clean up and everything like that first. So we'll split the video into two. We'll do this bit, and then we'll do some, and then we'll show you the stuff working, which is great. And it's in no particular order. There's 5 consoles here, I think it is. 2 of the consoles came with games, and there's a couple of peripherals. Now, in the case of everything that's here, all came with leads and cables, etc., and controllers. So beautifully kept together as one. No split up anything there. Some of the controllers and peripherals are going to need a little bit of looking at, but that's something that we can try and sort out to try and bring those up to scratch. I'm not sure possibly whether one of them may be beyond saving, but we won't show that anyway. Should we start? Let's just start at the beginning, shall we? Because I'm going to keep bending down and picking this stuff up. It's no particular order. And so I have gone through and given these a good clean up. So if they all come across quite shiny, that's because I've had the old window cleaner out. So now this first one here is a system that I'm massively collecting for, one of the systems I am collecting for when I come across items that I want to pick up for it. I do have one of these already, but it's nice to have a second one, it really is. I'm really looking forward to seeing if this is okay and works, and it is an original Master System. How about that? There we go, original Master System. So this one comes with the card slot there. Those of you who are already familiar with the Master System 2, Master System 2 didn't have one of those. There's the cartridge flap there at the top, and you've got your power buttons there, and the buttons seem absolutely fine. There we go, in and out, so everything works. That put control ports at the front, and you also got your little configuration holes at the back to plug everything in for. But yeah, look, I mean, you know, everyone knows my opinion about the Master System 1, that I love this console. I love the look of it because it's just incredibly weird and 80s. And I know some people don't like it, they prefer the Master System 2, which is, you're entitled to your opinion. I have a Master System 2, I don't use it, I don't like it, I much prefer this one. So yeah, to get one of those, great. I mean, Mrs. Bear bought me my Master System, which is currently set up in the other games room, and I will lovingly keep that one as a reserve. So you can just see what's built in on that one, because I know the one I've got's got Hang On and Safari Hunt. I know there were maybe a couple of different variations on what was built in, so I'll be interested to see what's that when we test it a bit later. That did come with a light phaser. The light phaser is missing the back off it. I'm not sure what's happened to that one. And the control pad was missing the actual directional pad. So where that should be, there's nothing there, but it's quite so. Again, like I said, that is what it is. We can see if we can try and get those sorted out. Like I said, I do have those in my possession anyway. So that was the first console we got. Second one we got. Again, I have got a couple of these already. I've also got an original one. We're staying with Sega, and this is the Mega Drive 2. I'm not a massive fan of the Mega Drive 2. I'm not a massive fan of these redo-overs, I've got to say. I just think the original Mega Drive looks so much better. Again, product of its time. So I've got a couple of these in reserve as well. Get cleaned up quite nicely. The only thing that's possibly a bit dodgy is the start button. It seems to be a bit loose, so that might require a bit of a strip down and clean out. But the reset button seems absolutely fine. Of course, if you've got a Mega Drive original and a Mega Drive 2, you've never seen a Mega Drive original. What's different about that one to compare to that one? Well, of course, it's taken out where there was the headphone socket. That's missing from this version as well. And if you've ever had the headphone socket with the volume control on it, it's great to listen to. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, I mean, you know, the usual scratches and marks on it, but again, nothing untowards about that. Very nicely held together. Yeah, I mean, I've got 2 of these already, so this will just go into there with the collection at some point. I'm not out of space to put these in. I should have started with something flatter, shouldn't I? You should put the Master System down, and you've got nothing else to stick on top of it. Let's get a peripheral out, because this was one of the things that made my eyes light up, and I have been after one of these for quite some time now. Not come across one in person, so I was absolutely thrilled to get this. And this again is one of those great products of its time. But then again, you know, companies are still bringing out big pieces of hunking plastic like this, and this is the Mega Drive arcade stick. Look at that beast there. I mean, this is actually heavier than the Master System. But it's heavier than Mega Drive 2. I don't know what it is. Giant, great big control stick there. You've got obviously 3 buttons. You've got 3 Megafire buttons as well on top of that, and the control for the Megafire at the top. Again, very, very nicely done. Again, a few blemishes on it, but again, nothing wrong about that. And it's underneath there, it's just like a clear black. But I mean, yeah, that is just an absolute. I've been after. They're not overly expensive to pick. I think, you know, go by CX price. I think you can get them for 20 quid from there. But I mean, this is just a really nice thing. I mean, I've been playing a little bit of MAME lately on downstairs in the main room, and one thing I've never particularly remember, being a right-handed person, I think it's strange to actually now think, well, I used to play arcade games with my left hand, the main stick is the left-handed one. Yeah, I don't know, I have a theory about that, but I don't know, it doesn't seem uncomfortable to do that. So, yeah, I don't know, I might get used to that, playing that again. But yeah, I mean, it's just great to have that. I've always wanted one, so that was a really nice finding that. In fact, that was one of the things I went, wow, there's a Mega Drive arcade stick in there, fantastic. I'm just trying to pick bits out here. One of the other peripherals I had as well, which I didn't get too much into, because I've already got one of these, but nice to see another one as well. This one probably, I don't know what they were thinking with this, and this is the Master System arcade control stick with this giant gear lever on it. Now, we'll talk about that other one. Now, this is actually set up for a right hand, but I mean, it's a strange thing to try and control, because you're not quite sure how to grab it. It does twist a little bit as well, so I'm not sure whether that's as it should be or not. I don't know. I've got one of these already. Mrs. Bear did buy me one a couple of years back. But again, I think it just looks good. It just looks really, really good. It might not be the most conventional controller of all time, but definitely something that I just love the look of. Yeah, I've got one down there as well, so I can see it in the distance. Put that over there. I'm probably going to run out of space at some point. Let me just take this one out of here. Now, this was an interesting one as well. I'm going to say that they're all interesting, aren't I? I'm going to keep saying that. This actually came with an extra peripheral as well, which is quite good. I should have done this beforehand. So the others will be a little bit easier. So the third console I've got, and again, I've not actually got one of these. Well, a PlayStation 2 Slim. I think we've all seen one of these before, but I've not actually got one. My 2 PlayStations, I've got a black one, which is a fat one, which ironically, talking about Neil's, Claire's brother in this video, that was when he sold to me. How many years ago was that, Neil? What, 18 years ago now you sold it to me? I can't remember. With a bag full of games for about 50 quid. I've still got it. It's not probably the best running one. I've got a silver one I've replaced that with, which if you watch my video about the maintaining the games, that's one I did. I was using the silver fat PlayStation 2 in that one. So I think I'm got a Slim. This is the first one I've actually got. But yeah, I mean, it's quite nice. It's got the old flip up there, if you've never seen that before, so that flips up and goes in there, quite nice. Yeah, but it's just a nice addition to have, really, and probably a lot easier than having to drag the big fat PlayStations out, which is quite good. And it also came with this as well, which I had never seen before, which is a PlayStation 2 multi-tap. I've got the multi-tap for the PlayStation 1, which was a sort of a boomerang-shaped grey controller, and this one's got 4 additions. They plugged in, you've got 4 additions out the side. You've got memory card slots and controller slots there for it as well. I mean, you know, I don't know that many people to play games with, but it's just nice to have something like that. I do like my weird shaped and weird additions. You know, I've got obviously PS1 multi-tap, PS1 mouse. So, you know, that sort of thing's quite interesting to me. So that's brilliant. I've never seen one of those before. But it's nice to have that as well. Oops, that's the camera. So that's 3 consoles. These 2 are fairly easy to get hold of. Now these 2 here I'm going to show you came with games. We've got some games to show. Let's grab hold of this one first. And I'll try and grab hold of those games there. Just talk amongst yourself for a second. Oh dear. Right, so what have we got here? Well, I've got plenty of these. But I'm pleased to say that every one of these consoles that I've picked up has got one of the expansion bits that you need for it to play some of the more sizable memory games, for the best way to describe it. Talk about an N64. They're all grey. I've got 4 N64s now. They're all grey, but they've all come with the benefit of having one of these expansion packs stuck in them. Every single one I've bought myself, or as in this case, been donated, has got one of those in there. I can't believe how lucky I've been with all that. But yeah, it is just a bog standard N64. But again, a very nice one, and everything about it seems absolutely fine. Reset buttons, it's nice condition again, giving a good clean over. You can see the back of those giant power pack goes in the back of there. But yeah, well, I mean, you know, a console I know some people don't like. Really does split people down the middle, this console, but I do like it. I'm a big fan of the N64, one of my favourites. Now this one did come with some games. This one also came, I should mention, the PlayStation 2 didn't come with any peripherals, no control pads. The Mega Drive 2 came with a couple of control pads. The N64 came with an official control pad and a third-party one, and came with 6 loose games. Now, like I said, some of these games I've got, and some of these games I haven't. So some of these might be upgrades on what the existing copies I already have. I know one of them certainly is, and if I've got any, you know, obviously doubles out this, I'll put them to one side, and I will move my own copies on, and Chris's will go into my collection. So the first game we got is Wave Race. There we go. So all these cartridges are very, very nice condition. They're all clean. Very few markings on them, actually. Very, very nice indeed. I've already got that one, so I will make sure that one works, and if that works, that goes into my collection. I'll move mine out. Lilac Wars, also known as probably the sequel to Star Fox. No, Star Wing, wasn't it? Star Wing, yes. Star Wing, sequel to Star Wing. Very, very good game, that, actually. One of the first games I played, when I managed to get hold of when I got an N64 all those years ago, from a car boot, my first one. So those two I've got. This one I've also got as well, but what a great game to have as part of this. Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda. It's about the 5th copy of this I've ever owned in my entire lifetime. All loose. Three of them went to, I think 2 of them went to CEX, and I traded one away or something, I can't remember. Or I may have given one away, I don't know. But yeah, it's a fifth copy I've had of that now, which is great, because I hate Zelda. I don't play Zelda games. I tried playing that one. That's the only Zelda game I've really tried to play, and briefly Breath of the Wild. I can't get on with any of them. The 4th one and the final one, which I picked, which were given, which I've already got, but this is definitely an upgrade on my copy. This is GoldenEye. Ocarina, GoldenEye classics, isn't they? Absolute classics for this system. That's definitely, because my label is pretty much obliterated on my copy, so it's nice to have a proper label copy of that one. And these 2 are games that I haven't actually got. So this one, you know what, I might actually sit down and play this properly and give it a go. Pokemon Snap. I was doing very well. I think I've got one Pokemon game in my collection, which is the original yellow one on the Game Boy. So now I've got a second Pokemon game. So I just have to play that one. I think it's less Pokemon-y than other Pokemon games, I think, anyway. But I'd like to give that one a go. But the one I was really dead excited to see was in here, and he's actually probably the one game that convinced me a little bit more about this franchise, that perhaps it wasn't all bad. Well, single player anyway. The multiplayer was still a bastard. Mario Kart 64. So that's a really nice find, that one. I do enjoy playing the single players. You know, I used to get my backside constantly trashed about by my mates on this. I used to hate that game, and I know some people don't like it because of the blue shell. I don't mind playing single player. I'm quite happy with that. It's one of my favourites to play. That and Double Dash really sort of, you know, because I didn't like the original Mario Kart at all. Wasn't a fan of multiplayer on 64, but then I played it on my own. I thought, you know what? And then I tried Double Dash on my own. I thought, you know what? Mario Kart isn't all that bad. All those things I said about Mario Kart over the years, I probably got it wrong. I'd like to think I got it wrong. And then finally, the final console which we got, if I can just find the games that came with it. Now again, this came with 2 pads. One of the pads, as I mentioned at the start, probably is going to be beyond saving, unfortunately. Some wires sticking out the back and the shoulder pad buttons are broken, so if there's anything that can be salvaged off it, we'll try. And again, this is one of these systems like the N64. I've been very, very lucky to have N64s with expansion packs. With this particular console, I've been dead lucky now. This is the 4th one I've owned to have got these so without having to spend a huge amount of money on them. The very first one I got was part of a bundle, which was 3 systems for 45 quid. I then picked up 2 loose units at car boot sales over the years, where they didn't come with any leads or anything like that, and simply took a punt on £1 for them. They both worked. One of them I gave away to a friend of mine a few years back, who was a complete Sega nut growing up as a kid. It was a one system that he hadn't got from that time period, so I gave him one of mine. I even gave him my leads as well, which meant I couldn't actually play my own because he got the leads on them. And then this one, and it's a Mark 1 as well, which is, from what I understand, from our resident expert, again, probably could do with it probably a bit of a service, but it is a Sega Saturn. And we can tell. How can you tell it's the Mark 1? Because they got the grey buttons. If they got the black ones, I believe it's a Mark 2 console. There's also got a few, you can see there's a few scratches on this one. Again, slight issue, the CD tray doesn't open all the way up, so that's probably going to need a bit of a clean on that one. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, apart from the odd wear and tear on it, I mean, it's not a pristine condition system, but that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's a very, 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 very nice system. I talk about the Saturn and I'd run it down. The reason I run it down is because it's just something that passed me by. It's one of the few systems I've got and I've ever that passed me by, that I don't have much affiliation for, like the NES. The NES and this one, probably the 2 systems I've played on the least over the years up until the last generation. Every single console that's existed, that I've owned or had, from the 2600, Master System, Mega Drive, and Super Nintendo, played plenty of those. N64, Dreamcast probably as well. Very, very little about that, but I've probably played more Dreamcast, in recent years than I've done in my lifetime, and I appreciate that one. I just can't somehow get on with the Saturn. But yeah, really, 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 really happy to have that. So we'll give it a proper good service to make sure that button at the front, certainly the open button, looks like it's a little bit loose, but everything else seems absolutely fine. I presume the clock, the battery will be changing the clock. This came with 5 games. Again, a couple of these I've got. So we've got Sega Worldwide Soccer 97. I don't want to open these because I'm not sure if I open these here, if this is going to fall apart. I'll try and do it best I can, as gently as I can, but that comes with the manual. The box actually isn't too bad on that one. There's some screenshots there, but I believe I've already got this one. I think apart from maybe 2 of these, I've got them. Next one up is a giant. Look at the size of that giant case there. Wow. This is FIFA 98 Road to the World Cup. It's got the old Electronics Boutique sticker on the front there as well. I feel quite light this one, so I must admit I didn't look. Oh no, it has got it. There we go. So it has the manual and the disc inside that one. Very nice. Must admit I haven't actually checked inside here, which is very unlike me. I would have had a look in there to find out what it is. See, why didn't they make those instead of the cardboard boxes? I'm sure that would have been a lot better. Next up is Wipeout. There we go. Apologies for the whiteout, I'm using natural light today because the sun's decided to stay in today. I've been chucking it down all day today. It's had a bit of rain this morning, but nothing like that. Again, complete with the old manual, which is quite good. There it is. I'm sure you've all seen Wipeout before. 4th game, again, it's got some sticker to the front, so we'll have to have a look at that one. But again, I've got this across a couple of systems. This is the original theme park. I think I have this on the PlayStation 1, certainly. No, there we go, the disc was going to make a run for it then. Not the best box, this one. There's a bit of damage to the box, you can see there. Old glue issue. I'll require gluing back on again. But again, I think got this on a Mega Drive, I believe, as well. This is a Mega Drive I got it on. I can't see, it's blocked. And then the final one, which I think is definitely an upgrade on my version, certainly, and this is Sega Rally, the original. It's got a sticker on the back, which we shall have to remove. It says, please remove protective film before use. That's a good idea, isn't it? How would you get into it otherwise? Absolutely no idea. Ooh, that disc is going to require... Ooh, that disc is nasty. Yeah. That disc is not good. Can you see that there? Yeah, you can see it there. That'll probably buff up quite nicely with the old fluid in the cloth. Give that a once over. That's possibly the worst looking disc of the lot, really. But we'll see. I mean, you know, if the disc is beyond reasonable reparation, then I've got a copy of this anyway, which I could sort of put the original box and my disc together and sort all that out. Yep, so that is it. So, I mean, what can I say? Firstly, once again, a huge thank you to Chris for his, you know, passing these on to Neil and going into, and for these to go into my collection. As I said, they will be looked after. They will be taken care of. You have my word as a collector. I wouldn't be doing any of this justice if I didn't give you that promise. And like I said, if there are things here which I can upgrade my own original stuff with, and I can take those out and move those on to people, donating them to them in the spirit of as this is intended, that's what I will do. And they will go straight to the collection and being kept and looked after. So once again, thank you so much for to you and Neil for coming together with that one. It's been absolutely fantastic, and this is great. So yeah, the only thing I need to do now is test them. So we'll have a cut or something, and then what we'll do, we'll probably, because all these came with all these will run through the old CRT, which is set up over there, as you can't see. So we'll probably switch the old camera around. We'll suck the gut in so you can't see my belly, and we'll just test to make sure everything's okay. So we'll see you in a few moments. Right, so I'm here. There we go. I'm over here beyond the camera. So we put the telly on. Apologies for all the, if you get any feedback from the telly in terms of just lines going through. That's just because how these things are. Right, so we did have a go at the disc. That's the Sega Rally disc. If you remember from the earlier shot, there was quite a lot of muck on the back of that one. It's cleaned up quite nicely, actually. There are some surface scratches, but there's no deep scratches, so we should be okay. So Saturn, we're going to play first. That is now plugged in, ready to go. Lovely, there we go. Now we've also got here those two control pads. One was an official 6-button one. This is a third party. Unfortunately, the official one looks like it's going to be beyond repair. So let's. Ooh, there we go. So messages will be in English. That is fine. There we go. Oh, set the clocks. We know that's not working, so we know it's the 8th of May today. Does it go up to 2023? I'd hope so. It does. There we go, 2023. And the time is just coming up to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There we go, that should be it now. Oh, let's reset the whole bloody thing. Oh, we'll just go with it. Okay. Ah, that's how we do it, okay. So the important thing to remember is that well, that makes it the 8th of June, the 8th of May. I don't really know anyway. There we go. So that should be that. Right, start. Exit. Exit. Oh, come on. Ah, there we go. Woohoo! Sega Saturn. There we go. So it comes up nicely, so it works. Drive empty. Okay, that's fine. Drive door open. That seems to register okay. So let's see if it will read the disc. That's the important thing.
Pop in Sega Rally. Checking. I'm not sure if you're making a noise like that, I don't know. You can hear that noise there. There we go, loading. 17 tracks, 43 minutes and 33 seconds. There we go. Just maybe, there we go. So it looks to be working. Okay, there does appear to be something slightly wrong with that. Skip through that quite quickly. Okay. Yeah, I think we have a slight issue with this. I think it might require a little bit of attention, possibly, but if I could work out how to change the camera angle, I'd probably be doing a little bit better. Oops. Yeah, so this, I mean, once it's up and running, it seems to be working absolutely fine. I just think possibly there is, whoa, we're going completely sideways. It's been ages since I played this. Yeah, I'm not sure whether there's an issue with the control pad or the disc or something like that, but there's definitely an issue with the start anyway. But there we go, we finished the first bit, there we go. So, yeah, that one's up and running. That might require a bit more investigative work on that one. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, so just a quick update on the Saturn. That was all working absolutely fine. I sort of mentioned there was a skipping issue at the start of it. That was actually to do with the controller I was using, one of those silly auto fire bits and pieces on it. I'm not sure what was going on with that. Anyway, that's all been resolved. All those discs working absolutely fine, have all been cleaned up, so that's beautifully ready to go. We are having a few problems though with the old Mega Drive 2. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be picking anything up. I'm not sure why. I know it's working because we've got lights on the arcade stick, so I know that the power button is turned on, but for some reason it's just not picking up a signal at the moment. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with this. It's actually also got a connector on the back which I'm not familiar with. I'm not sure where I've got this sort of turned on the right way around or not. I don't know. So at the moment, unfortunately, I can't get a picture on it. Not to worry, I shall persevere with this another time, but it is definitely working because the arcade stick has power on, which is a real shame because I wanted to give old Virtua Racing a go, but that might have to wait. But if I turn that off there, it's a dodgy power button, I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I'm going to have to admit defeat on that one, I'm afraid. Onwards and upwards. Right, so we've given up with the Mega Drive. Don't know what's going on with that one, I'll have to work it out. We're down to the Master System. We've got a third-party plugged-in controller. We've also got a copy of Mortal Kombat shoved in the old console down here, which you can't see. So let's see if that works. There we go. How about that, eh? So that seems to be okay. Good. So that appears to be working alright. There we go. That's a game I quite enjoy playing back on the Mega Drive in the day. I got a few had some glitches going on there, haven't we? Doesn't quite look 100% this one. It's also not letting me start the game either, which is a bit of a worry. Oh no, there we go. Mortal Kombat, press start, there we go. Let's just try a quick game. Not sure how that's looking at the moment. Yeah, there's some glitch. I don't know, might just need a clean, possibly. Oh, I've done a roll. Wow, that's unusual. Go on, walk into the leg. There you go. There you go. 1-0. 1-0. Obviously, I'm playing it on the easiest setting. Oh, down. Oh, down. Big punch. Oh, roundhouse. Oh, finish it. Let's have a roll, shall we, to finish with? Now we'll have a punch. There we go. Yeah, a bit of glitching going on in the background. This might require a bit of a clean, possibly. I know I've tried this cartridge on my other system, seemed to be absolutely fine. So, and I know when I bought this from Vintage Gamer, they did clean the cartridge as well for me. So maybe there's a little bit of cleaning to do on this one, but looks like it's working absolutely fine. Super duper. There we go. Right, we've got to now move on to the big telly, because the N64 and the PlayStation 2 both from composite, and this television doesn't have composite for some reason. So we'll have to switch them around and see if they're working absolutely fine. So we'll catch you in a second, and we'll see what's going on with that. Right, so you can see me there. There I am in the background. So the gutting. Okay, yeah. So we've got the big telly set up now. We've got the PlayStation 2 Slim plugged in. We've got the controller plugged in this time. We're not making that mistake again, are we, Stuart? Right. Okay, so we'll power that on if we can. There we go, green button comes on. There we go. That powers on quite nicely. I've had the opportunity to put it through probably a better and more time to do this. I probably would have done so. What are we starting with this one? Just trying to try one game running through it. Hopefully if it works, and we're going to try and run Tato Legends, which I've just randomly picked off the shelf to see if that works, and run. Bit of disc grinding, but there we go. Looks like it's picked it up from there. So again, that looks to be running quite nicely. No real interference on the picture coming through, so I've already got existing leads which I'm using. Now we can use 60 Hz as well, which is always good. There we go, so it does work in 60. And there we go, so all these battle shark, bubble bobble. I'll just give a quick go and see if we can get a Continental Circus, which of course, if you remember, was a mistranslation back in the day. It should have been called Continental Circuit, but got picked up for some reason, was called Continental Circus. And also as well, the arcade game actually had 3D glasses that came with it as well, which you may or may not know. Continue. Press the accelerator pedal, that's it. So the idea is you start place 100th, and every race that you take, you have to finish in a minimum position. For example, on this one, you have to finish in the minimum of 80th places. Of course, you can spot the obvious Ooh, this is interesting. Here we go. Just working out what the controls were there for a second. It also was quite good because if you hit the back of a car or something, what the hell's happened there? Your car would start smoking with some sort of damage, and you'd have to go into the pits, otherwise you'd be carrying on. There you go, see there. It says pit in. So I should see the pit stops at some point and have to drop in there. Otherwise, if I carry on, my car could feasibly explode. Ha! As it did there. There we go. And you can see at the moment I'm currently ranked 95th, and I'll need to finish in 80th place. Ah, dear me. I must stop trying to. So there we go. We drop pit in here, you see. It's the first game I think I ever remember with proper pit stops like that. I don't hold out much hope for me sort of qualifying from here, but this is just to give you, just to give the old PS2 a proper run out. Whoa! And of course the 3D effect was if your car was exploding, it would sort of fly towards you. I'm going to run out of time here. There we go, 1 second. There we go. Anyway, nice to know that's up and running. Good to see it. So PlayStation 2 works fine. We shall now... did I get halfway around? Yes, over. We shall now try with the N64, see if that's working. And our testing is nearly complete. Right, that was dead easy. So the last one to set up then is the Nintendo 64. Which... we've got plugged in. That was dead easy because just swapped over one cable. So we've got a bits and pieces. We've got a game in. Let us go. Let's see how this works out. The gold rotating Nintendo logo. That can mean only one thing. It's Mario bloody Kart. Never have Mario. I play as Yoshi. Okay, yeah, fine. Get ready. If I can remember. It's been years since I played this. Oh, there we go. Bash them out of the way. There we go. I remember I'm going to use the analog stick. I've got no idea what the controls are. How do I fire off a special? Oh, there we go. What do I press on that one? I remember how to do the sliding. There we go. Yeah, so this was a game that I quite enjoy playing on my own. Not so much with other people, but we'll find that out. I should probably go back and revisit this and give it a proper good go. So, who's winning this race now? Far are they ahead? Bloody Mario! All right, he's got that coming. Final lap. Come on, Yoshi. Put your foot down. Bit of a waste of the mushroom, but not to worry. So I always used to play the game like this because I didn't know how to do the sliding and the jumping around corners and things, and evidently I still don't know how to do that, which is fine. I can live with that. I play Mario Kart in the spirit it was intended, as in very simply. And now I've got the straight line speed ahead of Bowser, so I can probably lose it in the corners but beat him on the acceleration out. And we need to pick up a box here. Yeah, that was yeah, well, I should be able to hold him off at straight line speed anyway. There we go. So I win a game of Mario Kart. There we go. Fantastic. So there we have it. That's all the consoles tested. Like I said, the one I've got a problem with is the Mega Drive 2. But I suspect that's probably more me rather than the console. But yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed that. I mean, this is just a fantastically brilliant donation to the gaming pantry and the collection. And I'm absolutely thrilled to have it. So once again, a massive thanks first of all to Neil, who transported the stuff to us. A massive thank you to Chris, who donated all this gear. Chris, it will be looked after, mate. I will make sure this goes into the collection and stays there and is preserved. And thank you once again for it. I will try and sort you something out. I know you said you didn't want anything for it, but we'll try and work something out with you and at least get you something for all this. This has really been really appreciated, and I hope you've enjoyed that. If it's the first time you watched one of these videos and you've enjoyed it, yeah, there's some more there. Go and have a look. Keep your eyes open for more that come along. And for everybody who's been here previously, yeah, you know, they expect the usual rubbish, but I hope you've enjoyed that anyway. Slightly different. A bit of gaming rather than just talking. Thanks for watching. This is the Retro Bear. Going to go and enjoy the rest of my bank holiday now. Hope you do too. I'll chat to you again soon, but until then, do take care and bye for now. First, Mario Kart.